Hey there, audio fans. Todd with avnirvana.com here at Capital Audiofest in Rockville, Maryland, hanging out with SVS. Nick Brown. How's it going, Nick?
Todd, always a pleasure, man.
Yeah, definitely. Love seeing you here in my home turf.
Oh, we love to be at Capital Audio Fest. This, has been one of the fastest growing shows for the last few years, so it's awesome to see the progress that's being made.
It's changed so much over the last decade. I mean, this is probably the biggest year yet. I mean, they're expanding across the street.
Dangerously, I know. It's your life in your hands going over there, but yeah, it's great to see that they're almost exceeding the Hilton here, and they're growing up. Love it.
So you guys have kind of a dual presence here at the show this year. Can you tell us a little bit about what you're showing?
Yeah, I'd love to. So next door we have our sort of traditional two-channel setup. I mean, this is a hi-fi show, and I think a lot of people just want to hear your flagship products in their best light. So we have our Ultra Evolution Pinnacle setup over there with a Hegel H400 integrated amp, and then the Orchard Audio streamer helping us bring in some of our requests that we take for
some fancy equipment.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's one of the more upscale systems we've done, but again, like this is a place where I think people want to hear the best of the best and want to put them in the best light possible. But this is the room I'm really, really excited about. I mean, it's a completely different setup than we've ever done before.
Tell us exactly what's going on here, because I see speakers up high, speakers down low, front and back. You've got more of a traditional setup here in the front, multiple subs.
It's really about a celebration of sound, and the reason I say that is because we're putting different kinds of content in different formats on display here to let people really see and hear what's possible. Everything from Mission Impossible to Mozart, and so what we've done, I know,
That's great.
We partnered with Orchard Audio, and they've been a phenomenal partner here, providing the amplification. And I guess it kind of starts there because it's the first time we've ever done discrete amplification across all the different channels in the system. And we're using their StarCrimson Ultra, which is a 500 watt mono amplifier, as well as their StarCrimson 25, which is 150 watt for the surround and the height channels. So it's really getting the most out of this system. We're maximizing the potential of every channel.
So each speaker has its own individual amp.
That's right. Yeah, and then we're also partnering with RICables, which has some beautiful cables that have set up here, so all the connections are as elite as we've ever used before. So I think from just a connectivity and actual setup perspective, it's a completely different flavor of anything we've ever done. But what it's also allowed us to do with our partnership with Orchard is bring in some things that maybe people wouldn't have experienced as far as listening before, like quadraphonic audio.
Yeah, hold on for a second. I know there's some old timers out there who are like, oh yeah, I remember that. So tell us for the newcomers what that means.
Yeah, so, and this is not us saying like quadraphonic audio is all the rage, like this is coming back in a big way, but it's essentially having 4 channels. Quad, kind of makes that obvious, but you get your 2 front and left and then your 2 rear speakers. And we have SACDs and some Blu-rays where you're able to kind of perceive what it's like to have a 4-channel system producing this sound all around you, and then switch over and do a Dolby Atmos. You bring in the height effects, you bring in the subwoofers. And so, when you have tracks like Dark Side of the Moon that you've heard, I don't know, 500 times, 1,000 times in your life, but you're able to experience them in these different kind of surround sound formats, you get more out of it, and you kind of understand, how much work goes into these mixes to help you, just perceive it in a different way, and it really lets the artistry shine through, which is exciting for me.
Are some of the quadraphonic tracks you're playing recently mixed that way?
I would have to guess they're pretty old.
They're pretty old.
I don't know. We have a couple experts in here who have the library with them, but I don't think a lot of people are mixing in quadraphonic.
I don't think so.
It was, a popular thing, I would say, probably in the, 70s, 80s when surround sound was just starting to come in.
For sure.
And so I think the legacy of it is exciting to share with people, because it's like, this is where it all began. This is where, surround sound actually got its beginnings. And now, we're able to also play, some of the cinematic content that showcases how the surround sound and Dolby Atmos and even spatial audio have really taken it to that next level with object-based surround sound. So to be able to kind of switch between those different formats and let people experience that with content they've heard and maybe content they haven't heard, to me, again, just brings a new flavor of excitement and celebration of sound here.
Yeah, for sure. I love, and I was telling you, in this environment, there's so many 2-channel systems around. It's a breath of fresh air to walk in and just have something completely different. But also, the price point in here is reasonable. I mean, we're talking about a show that has $300,000 turntables, and that doesn't count the tone arm, by the way. There's one downstairs that would run you close to 500 grand between the turntable, the tone arm, and the cartridge. You guys are very affordable. So tell us a little bit about the speakers that you have in here.
Yeah, so this is the first time we've ever showcased our Ultra Evolution towers. These are the smallest floor standers in our flagship line, the Ultra Evolution series. They still have the acoustically centered time alignment, the dual woofer array with the front and the rear, so you get a fully active woofers, gives you that great low frequency extension as well as even bass response throughout the listening room. And then the diamond coated aluminum dome tweeter, which really gives you a wonderful area effervescent highs up to around 40,000 hertz. So we were really able to bring that breakup frequency high, and so all of those features, sort of follow throughout the line here. But we're doing our Ultra Evolution Center. We have actually 4 channels of Atmos running, 2 in the front stage here, and then 2 in the sides as well, to really kind of fill in the gaps and have great continuity from the front to the back of the room. And then, of course, we are SVS. We had to bring some of our big guns, so we brought the new SB5000 Revolution subwoofers, a pair of them here, 2,000 watts RMS, over 5,000 watts of peak power, and we did the math, and we're at about 7,000 watts of total amplification between the subwoofers and the Orchard Audio StarCrimson amps. So, like, clearly for a room that I would say is about 12 by 14 here,
right?
We're able to pressurize it pretty well.
Oh yeah.
And again, it's like, it's not all about that though. I think you mentioned it. It's a breath of fresh air. Some people call it a guilty pleasure. We're doing things like Sinners and the blowtorch scene from Ballerina, which is like, a complete departure than I think most people are getting with some of the chamber music and the jazz tracks. But then we'll also play those too. We want people to hear what they like to listen to at home in different formats, but then also get that guilty pleasure experience as well. And I think that's why we're calling this truly like a celebration of sound,
right?
Because it kind of transcends a lot of different genres and a lot of different formats that, are just fun to explore.
You talk about all that power. I'm pretty sure during that ballerina scene, the lights were dimming.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is always, I don't know, there's a part of me that loves that aspect also. When you just see the power getting sucked out of the system because you're outputting so much energy into the room, sonically speaking.
We're playing a horror track from Annabelle Creation, and like right when the visceral moment comes up, the light starts flicking, and I saw some people gripping the armrest, white knuckles there. So if you can create that sort of visceral, palpable experience, then I think you're doing something right.
Right. So is this the first time you've done quadraphonic?
Yeah,
show ever.
The first time we've had quadraphonic content, so I got to throw some love to a friend of ours, Joe Goswami, because he actually brought in a lot of this content to be able to showcase for people with SACDs and some of this quadraphonic stuff. And I personally never really had an experience with it, but hearing Dark Side of the Moon in that sort of 4-speaker array, I mean, it was just fascinating to me to have that point of reference when, also listening to it in stereo and Atmos. And it's a different vibe, but like no less immersive, which I think was really cool because it just shows the quality of the mix and how, they emphasize different parts of the music, but still just a really cool experience.
One of the all-time great demo discs, in my opinion. I mean, and there's so many flavors of it too. It's just one of those things that, and you're familiar with it too, so what quadraphonic, how it sounds differently, right? Which is pretty exciting.
Yeah, the layers, the textures, the way it all sort of comes together, and then the transitions from one song to the other. Like, again, it's a different experience depending on the format, but it's no less, engaging in terms of what it's doing for your hearing and how you like it.
So you guys were sitting around SVS headquarters thinking, like, how can we show up and make this different? Did it take a long time to come up with this idea, or is this something that's been kind of percolating in the background?
Yeah, so this actually came out of Axpona. We started talking to the Orchard folks and to our friend Joe. Joe, come on up. We want to talk a little bit about this. And so he kind of helped bridge the gap between us and make the introduction. And we had just had this vision to bring music into, with different formats. And I mean, you can tell better than anyone.
I was let loose on the show all weekend at Axpona, and I was supposed to be working a room with Leo from Orchard. And the guys at the room said, don't worry about it. We got everything covered. And again, I didn't know Nick and Larry from Adam, and they didn't know me, right? This was before Austin. So I talked to Larry in the morning. I says, what time? Joe, 3 o'clock is our hard stop. If you show up here at 2, we'll try your little experiment. So I brought my laptop in and I basically jacked into their Blu-ray player, everything just worked on the first shot, right?
And this is, we were just doing home cinema demos.
Yeah.
We're not really doing music. It was our normal.
Yeah. This was just a little Sunday afternoon experiment.
We treat these with a lot of skepticism when people.
Yeah, and I don't blame that, especially when it's
Here we go.
especially when it's me involved, right?
We're like, who's this guy?
Exactly. So what happened was, so I started playing some tracks I had on my laptop, Dolby Atmos only, and people weren't leaving the seats. And about 10 minutes later, Nick comes running over from the 2-channel room. What the heck's going on in here? Why am I not hearing any movie demos? But he sees the room's full and everybody's chilling to Abbey Road. And then I played some other stuff, you know. And then I played from the Yes album, Yours Is No Disgrace. And there was one gentleman, he literally went through all the seats as he was listening to the song. Afterwards, he sits down and he says, I've listened to that album 1,000 times. I've never heard it like that before in my life, with the flying guitars and the ceiling and the Hammond organ and the bass and all this stuff. And I looked at Larry, Larry looked at me, and next thing you know, we had a few Zoom calls, and the squirrel cage went off in my head. We're not doing home theater receivers. No. We're doing this right. So a few Zoom calls with Leo from Orchard Audio, and voila, this is what we came up with. Working with these guys was an absolute pleasure. There was sound running in this room Thursday at 12 o'clock. Gary, the boss, blessed the room.
Yeah.
Once that was done,
and it's like the Godfather comes
yeah.
and says,
Oh yeah.
No, that ain't an inch.
I think the only thing that had to get done was one sub had to get moved, and then I kept texting these guys, don't touch a freaking thing. This thing is perfect for movie demos and music demos. We don't have to do nothing. And that was basically it. Working with them was, I'd do it in a heartbeat.
Like you were saying, we do a lot of shows, so, you know, it's sort of a well-oiled machine, but to have the, you know, vision to do something like this was really sort of a collaborative effort, and, you know, we couldn't be happy with how it turned out.
Right, and if you're out there listening to this thinking, okay, people weren't leaving their seats, you have to understand, at an audio show, that's a big deal, because I was in a room yesterday and I raised my hand and asked to hear an Orbital track, which is a techno band, and the entire room cleared out in like 5 seconds. Which I seem to have that effect on rooms when I make music requests.
Well, that's part of it. Like, we love taking requests, but it does run that risk of, like, you know, you got a bunch of people who want to hear the Eagles or Dire Straits, and then somebody comes in and is like, well, I want to hear maybe some Megadeth, and you're like, you know what, we're here to please everyone.
Exactly.
Put this on, and we're sorry to you folks. We'll play, you know, some Coltrane later, whatever it is you want, but, you know, this is what we're going to do right now. And to me, that's like part of the experience, because if you can't enjoy the content that you love, you know, at a show like this, then, like, what are we all doing here?
Right, exactly.
It's like, it's not about us curating a list that's going to make these sound as good as possible.
Right.
It's about a celebration, again, of sound and what you appreciate in terms of musical content, cinematic content. And so we always try to hit that note.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's a really good point. You know, you got to get the emotion going beyond just the sound. And once people hear this kind of gear singing and creating that emotional response, that's really what you want. Right?
And with the, you know, the quadraphonic and some of the other stuff, some of it's about building nostalgia, because there are some folks who come in here and they're like, I remember quadraphonic.
Oh, yeah.
That it's like, well, it's still out there if you want it, and here, you know, here's a flavor that that might get you back
when gas cost 50 cents a gallon. Right.
So, you know, it's just it's fun to bring that sort of those memories back to people, and then also, again, just show what's possible now in terms of different kinds of output and formats.
Awesome. Well, folks, I'll stick a complete list of all the gear that's in this room down in the description, so you can go check it out. It's really nice stuff, but I think you're also going to find that it's stuff that you can bring into your own home without having to get a second mortgage.
Absolutely. And you know what? It's great to come to these shows and experience that kind of stuff as well, because maybe you'll never have the means or the desire to spend that much on audio. But then you can also do that sort of calculus where it's like, you know what? I'm 98% of the way there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely.
And some Orchard amps, and you know what? That is more than enough than most people need. So it's also a great way to kind of showcase, again, those different levels of you know, what you can get for the price.
Yeah. Awesome. So great seeing you guys here. I hope you come back next year.
We'll be here.
Awesome. Folks out there, next, if, you know, you're probably not going to see this video before, well, maybe. If I get it up today, you'll see it. Maybe if you're in the DC area, come on out to Capital Audiofest and you can experience this yourself. Otherwise, keep a lookout for SVS because they're on the road all the time. They'll probably...
One little plug, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure.
IQ Home Entertainment in Fairfax, Virginia. If this airs before December 4th,
It will.
We'll be doing an event with giveaways, different, we call them sound experiences in different showrooms that they have set up. So that's Fairfax, Virginia, IQ Home Entertainment, December 4th, 6 to 8 p.m. You might be able to win yourself a 2-channel system.
Oh, very cool.
Meet me, Gary, Larry, and the team.
Oh yeah, definitely go to that. These are great guys to hang out with, lots of fun. So awesome. Thank you so much for joining us today. Folks out there, subscribe, share this video, but more importantly, come become a member at the Home Theater Forum, avnirvana.com.